Good morning and welcome everybody to the first session just before the official opening actually of the summit. And thank you for those of you who took time to also participate in this discussion. The discussion today is a bit about cybersecurity, privacy and integrity and how we can protect the good and positive things about the digital transformation, which I think that we all feel is getting more and more speedy. And of course, you're not going to listen to me, you're going to listen to a great panel. And I am so fortunate to have one of the strongest panels I've had in a long time. And first of all, I want to welcome His Excellency Minister Sunaidi, who is the Minister of Commerce and Industry and Deputy Chairman also of the Supreme Council for Planning and a Special Envoy of Oman. Welcome very much, Your Excellency. Next to the Minister is Elizabeth, who is the representative for a cybersecurity company in the Middle East, Darktrace, a very advanced cybersecurity company, I might add, that are using loads of AI to also improve, and she will share with us some of the attacks that you see in the region. So now we have the government and a cybersecurity company, and we move now to academia. So I have Professor Guido Lutschke here, who is working out of the University for Security and Safety at the Brandenburg University, and he's also one of my experts in the Global Security Council, where he advises the Cyber Center. So now we have academia on board, and then we go to a native Jordanian American, Usama, that is my good friend from many, many years, and he is the CEO of Open Insight, and he's also a co-founder of the ODA company, and he used to be working for Yahoo and big other companies. He's a great startup man, and we work together in Barclays. So he has the ideas also maybe to see some kind of the solutions for the problem that we face. So let me just set the scene very, very shortly, and I'm trying to look at cybersecurity in a positive way. I think that the majority of us look at it as a downside to anything we do. I think cybersecurity could be a competitive differentiator if you play it well, because I think that our users in the future, they like trust. They like to feel that they can trust those they give away all their most sensitive information. And let's face it, ladies and gentlemen, you ain't seen nothing yet. So what we see now in the change is only the beginning. In the next 3 to 4 years, you will see a digital transformation at a speed we probably cannot even anticipate. So everything will be connected, everything will be sensing, everything will be stored, and everything will be intelligent. The good part of that is that you can probably cure dementia, cancer, you can solve loads of health and food issues for the world, but there is a downside also. You generate big data, and you also have the ability now to trace and do breaches, to misuse information for criminal purposes, to even hack opinions. So how do we deal with that in this increasingly complex world? And I think also a difference from the way we normally treat problems, where we say we need to prevent, we need to protect, we need to prosecute, is that in cybersecurity it's very, very difficult to prosecute because law enforcement are not really good in cooperating in this area. Secondly, governments doesn't have the information they need. They are all belonging to the private companies. And we don't have necessarily a very good cooperation across this. So how do we now take that challenge up? And I think we have a number of answers and also solutions for this. Secondly, I want to advise you that if you have any questions, please feel free to make a marking, and I will do that interactively, and we can do that immediately. We can also wait until the end. You decide. But I would really encourage you to engage with this panel and get their frank opinion about what they think can be done. And I think that's very, very important. So, Your Excellency, let me perhaps start with you and ask you, what do you think? You represent a country that is known in the region for being very inclusive, very, very friendly towards everybody. And how do you see cooperation between countries inside the country companies, but also in a region could grow and thrive? And what are your experiences in that area?
Well, first of all, cybersecurity is an attitude-related issue. It is never about technology. Threats, when they come, they're either you have missed out somewhere. It's not you bought the biggest machine or you have installed the biggest software. It's how do you deal with behaviors, if you will. And so as long as you include everybody, you are able to pre-predict notions of threats in cybersecurity and deal with them before they do damage. The second is to do with viewing cybersecurity as a collaborative effort, not a competitive effort. In many countries, unfortunately, they look at this as a business opportunity. And so you say how much money companies will make, how much this institution will do if they do not exclude others. But with cybersecurity, just like disease, if you don't deal with it and deal with it as an emergency situation, everyone comes in to play, chances are they will hit the lowest and the most vulnerable institution or person or computer in the thread, and they will make their way through all the way to the biggest in the chain. So if you don't cure disease at the household, you cannot cure it at the village or the city or the country. The third is related to the relationship between government and private sector. Private sector is to make money. That's well understood. One of their main jobs is to create wealth for their companies and pay their staff and sell IPs. But there has to be a situation whereby government institutions and the private sector understand that there is an amount of collaborative effort that has to come. It's a partnership. And at the end of that partnership, still people have to keep, governments will keep some of the sensitive information off the network, and private sector would keep some of their sensitive IPs out of discussion. But at least 80%, 70% of the time, they can collaborate because the payment comes only at the end. And that's why a private company should be very patient. And reward to governments comes at the end when you understand that a year has elapsed and none of your systems have been hit. And accordingly, you need to have, first of all, an organization, and that's why you have institutes like CERT in Oman. And then you need to have laws and regulations. We go back to 2008 when we started our first laws. So you have to be firm with laws and regulations. And then you have to come to a situation where you have collaboration at the level of the country and then grow it outside the country. And finally, you have to have a place where that when whistles are blown, you deal with them seriously. And I think in many countries where whistles were blown by a little guy, a little company, a little person, people have ignored that whistle and therefore the damage was huge. But as you respect whistleblowing, then you respect the relationship between everybody in the chain, and therefore everyone becomes part of this journey. And we are still in the beginning, as you said. No country, no company, no organization can say any time. Because with cybersecurity, you're dealing with actually a moving target. There is never one thing that you want to deal with. It's every day someone is inventing something. I'll just give you a hint that the biggest hits on our systems in the banks happened from Japan during tsunami. When everyone is looking the other way, people use the system. This is normal. People will, and if you don't have a good connection as nations, as companies, as governments, chances are they do big damage to you when you are asleep.
Thank you very much, Victor. And that was a very, very comprehensive introduction, I think. And what you touched upon also was that our culture needs to change, so we have a security culture also in these companies, because probably the humans are the weakest firewall. But Guido, if I turn to you and... Yeah, sorry, please. Yes, please do so.
أنت شجعتنا على طرح الأسئلة. عذراً على المتحدث أن يستخدم الميكروفون وإلا تتعذر علينا الترجمة.
I have read so much about cybersecurity, and
سمعنا كثيرا عن
the one
الأمن
thing I
السيبراني،
couldn't find,
ولكن ما كان غامضا
currently not as
بالنسبة
much
لي
research,
وما ينقصه الكثير من
Why do people
البحوث
attack
والمحفزات.
networks? Of course, some of it is political,
لما
some of it is
تتعرض
simply
هذه
highway
الشبكات
robbery, but
للهجومات؟
there is
بالطبع
no deep
هناك أسباب
research
أمنية
into
سياسية،
what makes
ولكن ما
people
من
do
بحث
that.
معمق
What is the
يعطينا
incentive?
المسببات
Can we hear
والمحفزات
some
وراء
comments from
شن
your
هذه
group? Thank you.
الهجومات السيبرانية.
I think it's a
هل
very
لو
good
أطلعتنا أكثر على
question.
التفاصيل؟
I think
هذا
that
سؤال بمكان
data
سيدي.
is the
أعتقد
oxygen,
بأن
the
البيانات
commodity,
هي
the new
الأكسجين،
oil, so to
هي
say, and the good guys
السلعة
want
الجديدة،
the
هي
oil,
النفط
but there will
الجديد.
also be bad
الجميع يريد
guys who
هذا
want
النوع من
it.
النفط
So I think
الجديد
you have a
ومن
very, very
بينهم
big,
الأشرار.
I'll come back, maybe Elizabeth can help a bit here. I'll come back to you, the figures about how much is getting stolen online, and that represents a value. So you steal intellectual property, you steal real money from banks, you steal data, personal information that you sell, you steal credit cards that are still in your wallet, but somebody is using it in the cloud. And that is a huge driver, I think, that you will see this. And you'll also see that in the old days, it was a 16-year-old hacker who tried. Now it's organized criminal gangs who's doing that on conveyor belts. And they have taken over this. And they can do this because criminals, they look at three things: profit, investment, risk. Here you have a high profit, you have a relatively little investment, and you have zero risk because we don't arrest anybody as fast, to my knowledge. And I've been a police officer for 40 years. I'm a retired police officer now, so I know that the rate of this is relatively low. So I think there is an incentive. The second incentive, I think, is that this is a faceless crime. So if you steal a bag from an old lady and she's crying when you walk away with it and she may be getting hurt, here you can attack hundreds or millions of old ladies without seeing that you steal their pension or whatever. And there is no proximity to that. So I also think that gives an increase in people who doesn't feel the same shame as they did because it's all automated. A bit when you are steering a drone somewhere and you kill people on the other side, just like an online game. So I think there is a number of incentives and the lack of attribution. But maybe, Usama, you can come with a point on this.
I mean, it's really three categories, right? And the monetary one is big, but you may be surprised to learn that the biggest one is actually driven by espionage, spying. And the biggest factories for tools that are used by the cyber criminals are actually governments who build these systems to kind of spy on each other or on certain. The famous example is Stuxnet, which was built for cracking into the nuclear reactors in Iran, and then that got leaked, and it became one of the biggest tools used by all the bad guys to actually make all sorts of very horrible attacks. So that's the second incentive that drives it. And the third one is kind of bragging rights. Used to be very big in the old days, now it's much smaller, but still, you know, somebody wants to share, hey, I'm clever, I will disable you, etc. Now it's turning into, because of Bitcoin and other mechanisms for payment, it's turning into a good monetizable direction too. So you brag and you make money at the same time.
Thank you, Sam. Maybe Elizabeth, you can, since you are looking in the Middle East about the threat and what Darktrace is obtaining, what can you tell this gentleman about the actual threat in the region right now?
I mean, we work across private sector and public sector, everything from chocolate factories to legislative governing bodies, oil and gas companies, lots of financial institutions as well. And the challenge for all of them is they're still getting compromised. And probably one of the key threats last year, let's say 1 in 4 companies that we went into, we were seeing whether it was internal employees or external people using company resources to mine for Bitcoin. So that, again, was the reason they were sort of doing that was money-driven, money-motivated. We've also seen, like in some of the big oil and gas companies recently, the sort of Shamoon variant that came across started in October and then did a wipeout in December. The reason they're knocking out entire websites or infrastructure and asking for money, but also, there's hacktivism as well. So if you think about if oil and gas people don't want you to be drilling in certain locations, they can sort of change data within the organization and actually try and encourage that oil company to buy drilling rights in the wrong location. So it's hacktivism and monetary incentives to sort of drive that.
I think my experience is that you have roughly 3 types of actors. You have criminal groups. I think they represent the majority. Then you have nation states. They do a variety of things. Of course, nation states, they are used to be in the intelligence in my small country. So you always spy. You will spy before the internet, during the internet, and after the internet. You will continue to do that. What you see now is that it's expanded a bit, and you have more offensive tools that you could use in the physical. So as Usama said, when the NSA loses Eternal Blue, which they did, which was probably the most advanced spy tool ever, and then criminals get hold of it and they weaponized it, then what you saw was WannaCry and NotPetya as tools following that. And then the third group you have is, I guess, hacktivists that does it for political purposes. We haven't seen, I think, really examples of terrorism yet, but I think this is something that will come at a certain point, that they will also utilize this to do something that can affect a country, to destabilize it and get headlines. But I think that these are roughly the various drivers. And the problem is, if the risk is low, what kind of incentive should there be not to do crime? If you can do that without any risk, I think that there's still so much difference in economy in the world that you will have this driver. And that is, I think, where we need to work together, not just in the region, but actually we need to work together, all of us, the good guys, because then I think that we have the upper hand if we do that. The problem is, it's so difficult to do this when you don't have trust. So how can we work in a very distrustful world? And that is where I think we have our challenges.
I think one of the comments I'd like to make, which actually emphasizes something His Excellency the Minister said. When we were at Barclays, we were working on very high technology with AI and big data to do cybersecurity through fusion. However, one of the biggest impacts that happened was trolls created something that he called the Cyber Data Alliance. And he got a bunch of banks, European banks, who are competitors to each other, to actually cooperate and share data and signals about, well, when I get attacked, here's what the signatures look like. Here's what happens in my logs. And it was phenomenal to me to watch that he got competitors who hate each other to actually work together and contribute to the data sets and allowing us to all improve. So that's a great example.
But the theory is it's not rocket science. If you are hacked on a Monday, you will be on a Tuesday, right? If you then tell him how you were penetrated, he will change his defense so they wouldn't get through, right? And then you probably will repay him. And that is the driver. So instead of competing, we can compete on loads of things in the private sector, but we shouldn't compete about security. We should share. And I think that is the name of the game. And we can do that in sectors and then across sectors, because the criminals, they don't respect anything. They don't have GDPR, privacy rules, anything else. They just have the greed, and they will force through. But Guido, let me come back to you. What, as an academic and as a person who really monitors what is going on, what seems to work in this area, and where do you see reason for optimism?
My background is more or less cybersecurity in the critical infrastructure, especially in energy, and probably a command to the StatNet thing. So I would add sabotage also as an element which is very relevant in the energy sector currently. And so motivation is also given by nation states. So, if you look to StatNet, you can look at it from 2 different perspectives. One is from the operator side to say, okay, that might be sabotage against my facility. But you can also look from nation state side to say, okay, this was
البعد
political
العملي،
means,
والبعد
political
الآخر هو
instruments to
الأدوات
avoid a
السياسية
physical
والبعد
war, which
السياسي
probably
لهذه الحرب
would have been
التي
taken that
ربما
time from a couple of countries against Iran. So
حرب مجموعة من الدول
this
ضد
statistic
إيران.
might be seen as political instrument
فبالتالي
for
هذا يمكن أن
avoiding
تكون
war.
أداة
That was
سياسية
probably the very
تستخدم
first
لتفادي
element
الحرب،
which avoids a war, and it works from that perspective.
وهذا كان ناجحا انطلاقا
broad
من
picture for me
هذا
is
البعد،
that
ولكن
cyber becomes a
الصورة
strategic
بشكل
means.
عام أعتقد
And
أن
nation
العالم
states are not
السيبراني
really,
بات
have not really
مؤثرا
understood
بشكل كبير،
what
والعديد من
this
الدول
means
لغاية اليوم لم تفهم
is
هذا
relevant
العالم
for
السيبراني
their
الجديد
own national
وكيف أن
security.
هذا يؤثر على الأمن
And if you
الوطني
now
في
look
كل دولة.
to
إذا ما
the critical infrastructures,
أخذنا
especially the
البنية
energy,
التحتية على وجه الأخص تلك في قطاع
I
الطاقة،
worked 5 years of
أنا عملت
supported
لمدة
5
5
years at the International
سنوات
Atomic Energy Agency in terms of
على
nuclear and cyber threats.
عمل
And
على
the difference
برنامج
to
خاص
all
مع
other
وكالة
initiatives
الطاقة
I saw
الدولية.
worldwide when I
أطلقت
worked with
الكثير
OECD,
من
with UN, with
المبادرات
major
مع
others,
منظمة
is that
OECD ومع الأمم
we in
المتحدة.
Vienna
فنحن
tried
في
to
فيينا
collaborate and work
حاولنا
with
أن
all
نتعاون
stakeholders
وأن نعمل مع
together
جميع أصحاب
in a trusted
المصالح
environment.
في هذه البيئة
when
التي
I'm, for
تسودها
example, when I'm working
الثقة.
with UN
عندما
on
كنت أعمل مع
cybersecurity,
الأمم
then
المتحدة
I have
على
a
الأمن
group of
السيبراني،
people
عملت مع
thinking that
مجموعة
cyber
من
norms is the answer to all
الأفراد
problems.
الذين اعتبروا
A couple of days
بأن
later,
الحلول
I
السيبرانية
discussed the
هي
cybersecurity topic in
كافية،
an
ولكن كنت قد
energy
تناقشت
law
بموضوع الأمن
conference. So the
السيبراني
law thought, okay, we
من
have
حيث
this,
البعد
laws and
القانوني.
regulations,
نحن
and
بحاجة
this
إلى
is the answer
قوانين
to everything.
وتشريعات
So how
ولوائح
we are dealing with this
تنظيمية
instrument.
لكي
At the
نتعامل مع هذه
IAEA, we
الأداة
did
الجديدة.
everything. So we
كما
work with,
أنه
we are working with
حتى
nation states, we're working
عملنا
with
مع
lawyers, we're working with
مؤسسات
the cyber
حكومية
norm guys, we're working
ومؤسسات
with
غير
industries, we're
حكومية،
working with
عملنا مع
experts from
القطاعات
academia. And
المختلفة،
all these guys are
خبراء
sitting in
من
the same room, working on the same
القطاع
topic,
الأكاديمي،
and looking
عملنا على
how
نفس
could we
الموضوع
reach the best of
وحاولنا أن
everything.
نجد
But
أفضل
this only
الحلول،
works if
ولكن
you have a
هذا ينجح
trusted
فقط
environment,
إذا ما
where these people
كانت
can
البيئة
talk
التي
openly,
نعمل
can
فيها
discuss
مبنية على
openly,
الثقة.
come to
هذه الثقة
conclusions which
تنجم
make
عن
sense for
النقاش
everybody.
المفتوح
And so we had, for example, we had
وإيجاد
Interpol
الحلول
invited to Vienna. We had
والتعاون.
everybody
عملنا
who's
في
relevant in this
فيينا
play.
على
We invited
إشراك
them and
الجميع،
we discussed it.
عملنا مع كل
We discussed this
المعنيين
and that was,
وتناقشنا
and
بهذه
is for me
المواضيع.
an
هذا
approach
بالنسبة
which
لي
works. But on the
منهجية
other side, you have to see
ناجحة.
something
ولكن
else.
من
That is,
جانب آخر
in the nuclear sector,
علينا
we
أن
have something
نتذكر
which
أنه
is
في
called
القطاع النووي
as a nuclear security
لدينا
regime. So we have a
نظام
framework how nation states
الأمن النووي.
could organize
لدينا
security.
الدول
And that is a
التي
very,
بإمكانها
well,
أن
that's the only
تنظم
framework
هذا
I'm seeing
الأمن،
today where we
والإطار
organize
إطار العمل
security in a
الوحيد الذي
structured way.
ينظم الأمن
And I
بطريقة
proposed a couple of
هيكلية
times to different
هو
organizations to
مبني
look to
على
this
هذا
approach
التعاون.
and
أحث
to use it in
المؤسسات
the
على
cyber world,
اعتماد
because it's
هذه
very
المنهجية
similar to cyber
واستخدامها
in
في
a
العمل
couple of sense.
في
So that
العالم
could be an
السيبراني.
initiative or something
هذه
we can
مبادرة
do in the
يمكن
future
أخذها
to come to a
أو
solution
إطلاقها
how
في
nation
المستقبل
states work together
لإيجاد
with other stakeholders.
الحل مع
I
أصحاب
think
المصالح
that
السياسيين.
if you look at cybersecurity,
إذا ما
somebody will
أخذنا الأمن
always look at it as
السيبراني
a
دائما
tech problem.
يمكننا أن ننظر إليه على
I think
أنه
it's
مشكلة
more than a tech
تقنية،
problem.
ولكن
It's a
كلا
third of a
هو
tech
أبعد
problem,
من
then it's a
ذلك.
people
إذا ما كان
challenge,
فقط
and then
مشكلة
it's also a
تقنية أو مشكلة
process challenge.
تكنولوجيا فحينها
And
التحديات
Minister,
قد تختلف.
how do
معالي
you think that we
الوزير،
can
برأيكم
make sure that
كيف
we
بإمكاننا
work
أن
across all
نضمن
of these
بأننا
three areas?
نعمل على
Also, I think if we
مستويات
include a bit of
هذه
capacity
المجالات
building, I think it's fair
الثلاثة
to say that
ونزيد
we do not have enough
من
capacity in
بناء
this area.
القدرات،
How do you
لأنه
think from the
تنقصنا
governmental side
القدرات في
that
هذا
could be,
السياق؟
you know,
من
dealt with and you can have
نظرتكم
incentives that
الحكومية
will
كيف
promote
بإمكانكم
that
أن
path?
تضعوا المحفزات التي تعزز
I totally agree
هذا
that
التوجه؟ أوافقك
to be able to
الرأي
tackle it,
تماما
you have
أنه
to have
كي
a process
نتمكن
of
من مواجهة
inclusion,
هذا
not a
الوضع
process of
علينا
exclusion.
أن نعتمد منهجية
If you look at
الشمولية
talent in
وليس
cybersecurity,
منهجية
talent
الاستثناء.
comes
خذوا المواهب
very
على سبيل
randomly and very
المثال.
scarce.
المواهب
If you
فيها
announce
شح إن صح
in any
التعبير.
company for a
إذا
job,
ما
they say, I would
أعلنت أي
like to get a
شركة عن
cybersecurity manager.
وظيفة، إذا ما
Probably
أردت
the
أن
guy who is
توظف
most talented
مدير
is a
الأمن
hacker.
السيبراني، أكثر الأشخاص كفاءة وموهبة هم
So would you
من
disclose them from coming to a
المقرصنين
conference just because they are
الإلكترونيين.
hackers?
هل تستثنيهم ولا تدعوهم ولا توظفهم
They
فقط
become the bad
لأنهم
guy.
قراصنة إلكترونيين؟
So I think the
فبالتالي
first
هم
and
سيصبحون
upmost
في
is that we should
الجانب
have platforms
الآخر
allow for
أي
inclusion.
الشر. علينا
It's
أن
not
نعتمد
mind
هذه
reading.
المنصة الإلكترونية
not very sophisticated, just bringing people together. And that's why if you look around the world when they go for design, as you see every year we get a design, a color on our suits. It's a process of inclusion. People sit together and think that is the color they want to use for next year. And then they compete afterwards. But they don't compete before they agree on some kind of norms for the design. The same thing with cybersecurity. Inclusion is vital. It's most important. And so if countries cave in, if organizations, if governments protect because they don't trust each other, chances are they don't get the most of it. And so anyone who's working in the outside, they're cooperating virtually. So here you're not cooperating, you're not including. There they are including themselves and cooperating. Who do you think will win? The guy who includes everybody, the guy who works with everybody. And that's why virtually, over the years, we've seen most of the areas where we are vulnerable at is where people worked outside very strongly while you have little work in the inside. Second thing after the issue of inclusion is the capacity building issue. And I think it's very important again. People sell software and they sell training. You could do that. But if you don't train people how to drive a basic car, the chances are you will not sell cars anyway. So I think the training of drivers should be a reasonable, very low cost kind of exercise. It is only when you get sophisticated you sell IPs. I think the opposite is happening in cybersecurity. People are making it so difficult to understand the literacy of cybersecurity. And then as soon as you tell them I would like to train 500 of my staff, the bill becomes so huge per person that you don't want it to come. The third thing, I come back to the issue of attitude. Attitude primarily deals with living, deals with language. So if you don't come to a situation whereby in multi-languages the interface is available and at different levels of thinking. So accountants, engineers and doctors all have to become literate, and that their attitude towards leaving a computer open for more than number of minutes and not changing their password. It doesn't help you to buy the most sophisticated system to protect a hospital if you have one doctor who doesn't understand what it is to change his or her password every month, because the weakest link will be the doctor, and that's the entire secrecy of everything you have as a hospital, everybody included. You will have their records available for sale. So this issue of making it not expensive for normal individuals to access the knowledge of basic skills of cybersecurity comes at a higher cost, even if you have spent so much money to protect. And that's why I go back to your intervention. I think if we can build in this region and elsewhere a society that actually trusts each other into sharing information, basic information, early time information, and if we are able to include everybody, including a person who probably could have been and may be a person who does negative things than positive things. I remember a time when we announced in the front page of the Oman newspaper that ITA, the Information Technology Authority, which runs our cyber is recruiting hackers. If you are a hacker and you have a problem, why don't you come to us? We may have a job. And many people thought, I was chairman then, many people thought this is a crazy idea. They will not come. You would be amazed how many people wanted to swim to the good guys' side. They just were not approached. And the approach was a simple ad in a newspaper. And then you could choose from them. Because talent in cybersecurity actually is a kind of talent that is not taught by universities. It's a behavioral thing. They do decode, they hide behind words, behind language. If you don't understand them, they glide through. And as long as they are out there and no one has called them in, chances are they will stay there. And they're scared because they think you will jail them, because they are hackers, because you've seen them once or twice. And this is how you collaborate to turn as many as possible negative contributors to society to positive contributors to society and be able to convince them they can be paid. And then I come back to the ego issue, being famous. I also think, and that is sad, that those good guys who are working for the companies in the state actually get unnoticed. Those who sit outside. So maybe we have to come up with a way where we notice them. And this is something that the World Economic Forum and others can really come into play. Because you need to encourage them to make good things. And anyone who made a breakthrough that I probably don't know of, but I think they live there, who were able to stop attacks, we have never celebrated them. But we continuously celebrate those who do damage every day. This is one thing that is missing in the point.
Very, very good point the minister here brings up. He brings up a number of good points, which I 100% believe in. First of all, I don't think that you can use computer science university programs to create security people. They come from a different breed, and you can attract them in a different way. I agree with you, and I think we should find alternatives. Secondly, I think we should celebrate. It seems that the majority of companies who are getting breached, they are treated as criminals. They're actually victims. Right? They're treated a bit like criminals because they have lost. And I think we need to change that narrative a bit also, and also try to see if we can celebrate when we every day survive the many hacks that we have. But Usama, in this complex world, and I know that you like big data, and I know that this is your bread and butter, is there any way that we can also use that to our advantage in securing the world instead of, just relying on the criminals using it against us?
Yeah. This is, I mean, the complexity is becoming bewildering with everything being connected, with IoT and wearables becoming normal. Everything is flipped. The whole notion of protecting the perimeter, which is probably the basis for any security kind of strategic thinking these days, becomes completely irrelevant in that world. And it's turned upside down. So you have to address new kinds of issues, some cultural, some behavioral, and some definitely technological if you're talking about scale. In my mind, a lot of the tools that are available are becoming good at catching suspicious events. The big challenge becomes, are you actually now generating a lot of false alarms? And are the false alarms coming to a degree where they become completely unmanageable and get you to a point where it's useless because you're getting 1,000 false alarms a minute and your team doesn't know which one to follow, etc. This is where some of these new technologies in AI, in big data can come in and help kind of bring in signals from all sorts of different tools, sources of information, etc., and allow you to do some reasoning to sift through all these potential false alarms and say, you know what, out of these thousands a minute that you're getting, focus on these 2 or 3, pursue further, and then help you also explore quickly the richness of the data and allow you to explore and say, no, this one's okay, or this one looks really suspicious, let's go after this. The other thing I remind is even though a lot of us worry about being hacked from the outside and the connectivity to the network enabling all the bad guys to reach you, there's 2 things you need to keep in mind, and this emphasizes the behavior point. The most dangerous hacks usually come from the inside. They are insiders, right? And the highly protected systems that have even air gap, meaning you cannot reach the systems from the internet, get actually hacked through social engineering, right? The Stuxnet example was done by actually slipping in a USB and convincing one of the employees to plug it in. The NSA got hacked by similar means. The very famous WikiLeaks, right? They come actually from systems that are air-gapped and not reachable from the outside. So it is very important to actually have technology that allows you to not just gather events generated by systems, but gather events from other sources and put them in a perspective where you can catch who the bad guy is. Is it an outsider? Is it an insider? What is going on? What does this event mean? Is it worthy of attention, etc.? And without these tools, I don't think we can viably fight But with them, there is hope. And we see a lot of promising things through basic simple triangulation and ability to put data together, enabling several institutions to share data and sort of a simple algorithm that says if you're hacked on Monday, your neighbor will be hacked on Tuesday. That's an ingenious algorithm that says all I have to do is just detect this new signal in time and share it quickly, and then I can prevent them. I don't have to design the next best algorithm. Yeah.
It's I think if I sometimes is in an audience and I'm not pretending I'm not knowing what cyber is about, I would get confused, right? Because sometimes the opinion is that everything can get hacked. That how much does it actually matter what we do? Is it so complex that it's not for us to deal with? And I think that there is, from time to time, and also a need to simplify things. First of all, I don't believe very much in threats. I believe in risks. Because there is a threat, but are you actually in the crosshairs of the FSB or the Chinese? No. If not, then you don't need to defend yourself against nation states. You defend yourself against criminals. Is there anything we can do for the basic hygiene area? There was a change when we started to wash our hands after toilet and we brush our teeth. Should we do the same in cybersecurity? Should we update our systems? Should we change our passwords? Should we use dual-factor authentication, which is just basic? But I can assure you that will increase the bar extremely much for the majority of what we're doing. So I think it's also very, very important that we look at this, which is attitude. And you know that I always say that culture eats strategy for breakfast. If it's not embedded in your culture that you think security, it doesn't matter what the upper level of your organization tells you to do. You do what you always have done, and that is nothing. So can we change that narrative? Now I want to include also the audience. So if any of you have any questions, I will continue to ask questions. But if you have any questions to our panel, then there will be a microphone. So I see 3 questions. So if we start here, please, and then I'll come to you.
Thank you. My question is about the liability in big organizations.
عن المسؤولية في المنظمات الكبرى، فلدينا طاقم عمل تكنولوجيا المعلومات داخل الشركة أو لربما يكونوا من خارج الشركة أيضا، ولدينا أيضا الهيئة التنفيذية الرفيعة المستوى ومجلس إدارة هذه المنظمات. وقد رأينا أمثلة في الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية حيث كان هنالك منظمات قد تم قسمتها وقد خسر أشخاص كثر بطاقاتهم الائتمانية، وبدأ البعض بإلقاء اللوم على مجالس إدارة هذه المنظمات المستهدفة. والسؤال المطروح هنا، هل يجب على مجلس الإدارة أن يضع السياسات وأن يوظف الأشخاص المناسبين وأن لم يفلح في ذلك؟ فهل يجب إلقاء اللوم على مجلس
I'm sure
الإدارة؟
that Guido can help us. I know that in the majority of the countries now, at least in the countries in Europe and the US, there is a liability for the board. So they need to know, according to the GDPR, do we have sensitive information? If so, what do we use them for? Where do we have them? And how do we protect them? So you cannot delegate that responsibility to a CISO. That will come back to the board. And that's why the board needs also to be informed about this. And that is also why you elevate the responsibility now. So you cannot just fire your CISO, which you will do and blame everything on him. It also goes a bit back to the upper level. So I think that you will see this in some areas there are legislation, and you will see people not just getting a fine, but they can actually also be in jail. But maybe you can update us, Guido.
Yeah. So from the European or German perspective, for example, I think it's a difficult question, and it might be different in US and in Europe by law, but from the European perspective or German perspective, we are doing more or less two things. One is a risk-informed approach, which means in Germany, critical infrastructure, for example, they have to implement an ISO 27001 framework and have to certify this. This means that the top-level management has to be informed about cyber risks. And so they cannot longer say, we don't know what's going on in our company. And that is one of those parts. The other one, from my understanding, is you have to look deeper into the organization and you have to educate people. You need skilled people to do that, which is one of the big issues, of course, and it's a question of culture also. So to bring people into the right culture, attitude, behavior, that's more or less one part of the puzzle. So selecting the right people, tasking the people with the right things, and controlling what they're doing. That are the three relevant elements for liability in terms of organizations.
Thank you very much, Guido. There were two other questions here. This gentleman.
سؤال إضافي يجوز استخدام الميكروفون للترجمة. في المستقبل حيث سيكون لدينا خوارزميات تهتم أو تعنى بالثقافة، أعتقد أن ذلك مستحيل، سوف يكون ذلك تحدياً أساسياً. ويتصل نوعاً ما بتعليقكم معالي الوزير، فقد ذكرتم أنه يجب أن نجتمع سوياً وأن نجلس على الطاولة نفسها وندعو الأشخاص للحوار، وأن أوافق معكم 100%، وأعتقد بأن ذلك سوف يكون مستقبل الجنس البشري. ولكن أيضاً أجد صعوبة بأن أؤمن بأن مثلاً باكستان والهند سوف تجلس سوية لمشاطرة الممارسات الفضلى المتعلقة بالمخاطر السيبرانية والحرب السيبرانية. لربما قد يجلسون في بلد آخر غير باكستان والهند، لربما في جنيف مثلا.
But if I was to take that point further,
نعم، ولكن إن أردت أن أغوص في تفاصيل هذه المسألة أكثر، أعتقد بأنه يجب إجراء التدقيق.
The financial community has come up with something called audit, and this goes back to your point. So you make sure that laws and regulations require audit. Once you have audits, you have reports, and you see vulnerability. Then you know you are weak, be it a board member or be it a person working for the company. So now you know that you're liable to some questioning because the audit says you haven't done it. Yeah. And that is very important. I think auditing is definitely something that has to come out and become prevailing. Laws have to come. The next thing is to do with connectivity protocols. It will force people to sit together because once you're connected, you make me, who's connected to you, vulnerable. And you have to behave well, so I allow you into me. So if you are an insurance company and I'm a hospital, going back to the hospital issue, I cannot allow you to read files unless you are well preserved. So you have to sit together. Just like disease. And I mean, one has to end this session positively one way or another because we cannot scare people off. I mean, this is risks. We have to deal with them. We have to mitigate risk. We have to reduce it. And once in a blue moon, something will happen. So you cannot prevent 100%, but you do 90, 99%, 98%. So coming back to disease, if disease breaks at a neighboring country, there is no way you can say I will not send medicine and I will not send doctors because it's going to cross over and come to you through air, through an animal, through another human being, or through food. Cybersecurity is the same thing. If you have a threat that keeps hitting all banks, it is very arrogant for a CEO of a bank not to come to the meeting and say, I am not going to come in and I'm not going to help, because he or his people will be hacked someday. So just like medicine, just like healthcare, I'm trying to say that cybersecurity, a different kind of business model.
أنا أشبه الخطر السيبراني
your point is valid and the minister's point is valid. I see it in the following way. If we can build trust on just crime fighting, if we can see if we can put nation-state activities to a side and just say, could we deal with the organized criminal gangs that steal for everybody regardless who they are and combat them? And that's what we are trying in the forum right now, to find actually the usual suspects to sit around the table and only speak about crime. People will say there is a gray area. Some of the nation-states employ also the criminals, and that might be true. But if we can isolate the pure criminals and deal with them, I think we can build a bit of trust, and that's at least what you have madam.
حوار مع المجرمين أو المخلصين بحد ذاتهم. شكرا للمتحدثين على هذا الحوار الثري. ونحن نتحدث هنا عن السلوكيات وهي أمر أساسي، والثقافة أيضا أمر مفصلي. أعتقد بأن الطبع المعقد هو مشكلة نعاني منها في عالم اليوم، وعوضا عن اعتماد مقاربة منطقية لهذه التعقيدات. أحيانا يتبع الأشخاص سلوكية انفعالية تجاه هذه التعقيدات، وهذا ما نراه في أوروبا. لدينا كثير من التحركات الشعبوية التي تبحث عن أجوبة بسيطة لمسائل معقدة للغاية، ويشعر الأشخاص بالخوف فعليا. ونرى ذلك على المقياس العالمي، حيث أنا أؤمن بشكل كامل بأن الطريقة الوحيدة التي نتمكن من خلالها من التعامل مع التعقيدات هو عبر حشد الجهود والموارد. مهما كانت الدولة قوية أم نافذة، لا يمكن أن تتعامل مع هذه المخاطر لوحدها. ولكن ما نراه حاليا هو توجهات بالاتجاه المعاكس، بعيدا عن حشد الموارد، بعيدا عن بناء الثقة، بعيدا عن الفضاءات الآمنة. فكيف يمكن أن نحدث التغيير؟ كيف يمكن أن نحث على التقدم بالاتجاه المعاكس لكي نصبح أكثر عقلانية ومنطقية دون أن نتخلى عن انفعاليتنا كطبيعة بشرية، ولكن يجب أن يكون لدينا اتفاقيات ثنائية ومتعددة الأطراف، يجب أن يكون لدينا حوكمة وطنية، ويجب أن نختبر الحدود لأي مدى يمكن أن نوسع هذه الحدود.
It's an extraordinary good point again and a good observation, and it's of course true, and you can see this, the world is changing.
نعم،
And I don't
العالم
think it will
يتغير
change
فعليا، ولا
back
أعتقد بأنه
early,
سوف
so I think
يتغير
we need
إلى
to
الحقبات
realize that
السابقة.
that is
فيجب أن
the
نعي
conditions we
بأن
work under.
هذه الظروف
I
التي
think then
نعمل
you have
في
to do
ظلها.
something maybe which
يجب
are not
أن
on the official
نقوم
stage,
بأمور قد لا
but more,
تكون في مرحلة
in a subtle
رسمية في
way.
الوقت الحالي، ولكن
And
في
I think we
مرحلة
have
لا
a role to
زالت
play in the
في
forum
بداية الطريق.
by creating a
وفي
platform
المنتدى
for the
نحاول أن
coalition of the
نخلق
willing. Those who want to do that might not be everybody, but that might be somebody, and might be also be some of the bigger nation states. But still,
بعض
as
الدول
you rightfully
الكبرى
said,
أو بعض الدول
big companies
القوية
like
الكبرى
Microsoft
يمكن
or
أن
Google,
تجلس
they
على
cannot do
الحوار
this
واحدة.
alone.
شركات
Big
كبرى كمايكروسوفت وجوجل لا يمكن
countries like the
أن
US cannot do
تصفق
this
بيد
by.
واحدة.
We need to do this
فنحن بحاجة
together
لحشد
because you
هذه
cannot border
الجهود
yourself out of
لتوحيد
this, as the minister said. It applies. So I think that there is a number of areas that we can, but we don't.
Because probably I can add something. It's an interesting observation. It's the same I'm seeing. And what happened? So what happened goes one step further. Now Microsoft, for example, or Siemens, they are starting with charter of trust or mutual Geneva Conventions. And what happened now is that nation states say, "Oh, how is it possible that the private sector starts to global initiatives that is a responsibility of nation states? But at the end, the nation states they are limited to thinking about their borders, the physical borders. If you think about how to defend something, how to defend electricity grid in Europe, which is a grid over 35 countries, a real-time synchronous network, which can be attacked on one end and has an impact on the other end. And now if you look to armed forces or forces in general and say, okay, these are the guys who should protect against cyber, that doesn't make sense anymore. Because these guys are thinking in their national borders. That's the thinking. And they learn the culture is to think in these borders, but that doesn't work in cyber anymore. So how to deal with this issue?
I would like to add to that one. Some of these problems, I mean, they are actually very simple to address and they need to be addressed, yet they are not. So I point to critical infrastructure. Critical infrastructure is a very attractive target for the hackers and the attackers. Why? Because it's old. It's not updated. It's under operational constraints which often don't even let you bring down the system to update it properly, etc. So this is basic hygiene that is not taking place in stuff that is affecting all our lives in a big way. Like if you hit the water system of a country or the power grid or the telecommunication network or whatever, and you look down and some of these systems are running Windows 98 and some very old Windows 95 and they haven't been patched in years, and basic stuff that needs attention.
It's a great point. In previous workplaces I've been in, we also run Windows 95, and
كنا نعمل ببرنامج ويندوز 95 ولم يتم تحديثه، وكان ذلك بنية تحتية أساسية خاضعة للقرصنة. أود أن أسأل المتحدثين عن رأيهم عن مواضيع مختلفة، كمثلا الجهود التعاونية لحكمة أفضل أو البنى التحتية الأساسية، لكل هذه الأمور أهداف حاسمة. والآن إن نظرنا بالأسواق التنافسية، سابقا تحدثنا عن المصارف مثلا فهل سوف تتعاون مثلا أم هل سوف ترى بأن هنالك ميزة تنافسية لحماية أنفسها من منافسيها ويشكل ذلك جزءا من الحوكمة مثلا والأهداف المشتركة وما إلى ذلك؟
I think on that collaboration purpose,
فيما يتعلق بهدف التعاون فلدينا
points
الآلاف
across the
والآلاف
all
من
different types of
المصارف في
organizations, and they
كافة
have
أقطار
the
العالم
ability to
وأشكال
opt
مختلفة من
in
المنظمات التي
to
لديها القدرة
share what's going on in their
على
network.
مشاطرة ما يحصل في
It's called
شبكاتها.
inoculation. So if anything's happening on, say, a bank in South Africa or a telco in South America, we'll be monitoring their networks. And if we see something happen on one of those networks, we can instantly take that learning and then neutralize the rest of the network. But it is an opt-in service. So we are seeing a huge uptake of that because everyone's thinking, okay, well, we need to actually know what's going on elsewhere in order to be able to protect ourselves. So in that collaboration, yes, we have seen that. With regards to sort of seeing it as a competitive advantage, if you are better protected, yes, I guess it is, because if you're going to be wiped out, then no one's going to want to bank with you anymore because they can't. But we are seeing more and more CISOs of banks sort of sitting together and trying to work together with each other, especially across the Middle East. They're all on a WhatsApp chat.
I can echo that.
They're all on a WhatsApp group chatting to each other about everything, good and bad.
So in the Cyber Defense Alliance, you had 9 banks in the same room. It was not a virtual corporation. They were in the same room. They exchanged everything. When one of the banks was beat us, they rescued me because I could change my settings. When they attacked us, which they did, we were okay, thanks to the other bank who actually went offline. So I think you have this cooperation in trusted areas, not as much as I would like it to be, but still it's a good beginning. There was a question here, and then two over here. Yeah. So please, here, the gentleman here in the middle. Yeah.
My question is, in your introduction, you've mentioned hacking opinion. So maybe one of the areas we should consider is what we've seen with Cambridge Analytica and Facebook. They were actually not hacking the systems and the network, but they were able to collect all of these data and use it to attack the public opinion. So how should we consider this in government perspective and cybersecurity? Especially we don't have any control of these kind of tools, Facebook and Twitter.
Anybody in the panel who wants to? I think that what you will see is that in the future you will see even more of this, right? And that's primarily because of this thing, right? So it knows where I am, what I photograph, what I read, who I speak to, who I talk to, everything. And if you have all of these information, you can of course profile me very easily, and then you can give me more of the same things I like to and move my opinion. And I think that is actually a huge challenge also. It's not in the security area, but more in the privacy area. I think that is an area that also needs to be addressed, but that's predominantly a political a challenge, because as you rightfully said, these tech companies are probably not in our country, in other countries, and how do we regulate out of that? And I think EU does it, but maybe you, Minister.
I was hoping the EU would come into the rescue, but let me say that we know people like to consume sugar. So we'll be able to profile people who come to a certain fast food chain that they are sugar-loving people. It took a long time to realize that sugar created problems, health problems, obesity. Laws and regulations came later. But we actually did profile people, they love fat, they love sugar, they love this and that. And we catered for them. The community did. And we opened millions of shops all around the world to do exactly the two things they wanted the most, sugar and fat. But it was later when government said, wait a minute, health minister said, you can't allow that to happen. we have to come in with regulation. I think this is going to happen here as well. Mankind, as we know, in history, acts faster in certain areas, slower in certain areas. Unfortunately, regulation is the slower. So I understand that governments at some point of time will have to come and create stringent rules and regulations against hacking, what you just said, the mind, whereby you get profiled and then you get to do what you don't want to do, someone else wants to do, which keeps repeating every day and coming and consuming that extra ounce of sugar or that extra ounce of fat. And I think this is something that's not there. If you're asking, is this there now? I would like to hear what's happening in Europe, because I know this is not happening everywhere in the world. And I'm not sure if it's happening in Europe. If you have enough laws. Look at drones, for example. They flourish. But we cannot see governments agree certain laws and regulations on drones. And until people mature, and until legislations mature, we will still have people misusing drones for different purposes. But Europe is an example of new laws and regulations. Maybe we can hear something.
Guido, do you know what's happening in GDPR?
We have GDPR in Europe, that's true, and it was implemented in May 28, all companies had implemented that. Germany had a law on this before, so there was no big issue for Germany or for German companies before, but for a couple of other nation states it was a really big issue. It's still a big issue, and there is a lot of uncertainty about how to deal with certain requirements coming from that.
التي عن هذه القوانين فالأمور تسير بسرعة مضطردة وبالتالي يجب أن نحصل على المعلومات الصحيحة وكيفية إلغاء هذه المعلومات. كنا نعمل مثلا في شركة كما أنا أعمل ونقل إلى آخر فإن المعلومات الشخصية تكون موثقة وكل ما تنتجونه من عمل يومي يكون موثقا فكيف يمكن لشركة ما التعامل مع هذه المعلومات فيمكن أن نطلب مثلا من الشركة أن تلغي كل البيانات الشخصية المتعلقة به بعد 5 سنوات من إنتاج الوثيقة مثلا. وهذا أمر عملي ولكن يستحيل
I don't think we have real solutions yet, but we have a question from you.
Yes. My name is Fatima. I'm a global shaper from the Casablanca Hub, and I'm a security consultant at Microsoft. So the mention of Windows 95 makes me a bit uncomfortable. So we talked a lot about trust and culture, and these are long-term processes. So if you want to talk a bit more concretely, I think these starts with one organization being vulnerable enough, brave enough to say, I was hit by an attack, and this is what I have done well, and this is what did not go well. So we talked about coalitions. My question, I'm curious to know what the panelists think about having the essential platform to share publicly the attacks as they happen and kind of the details around them. What do you think about that? And specifically for the MENA region, and you mentioned the Shamoun attacks, and a lot of the Gulf region countries were hit by that. And I think if this was shared more openly among the organizations and countries, things could have been contained much faster.
Any input from the panel?
Yeah, probably. So I looked at the Ukrainian attacks against the energy grids because I'm working in this area, and to try to convince people to not only to share information because that is not enough. You have to understand what happened. That's the point. You have to analyze the situation and then have to think about what does it mean for concrete protective measures afterwards. And I went through more or less, I spoke with more or less all ministries in Germany, intelligence services about do we have a group of people or an organization or an authority which discuss this kind of attacks and produce results for the German around about 900
إنتاج النتائج الأساسية والحلول الناجعة في شبكة الكهرباء المانية حتى الآن لم نجد في ألمانيا أي جهة تحمل المسؤولية.
That was done in US. US did this, I know that. But not in Germany, not in Europe, I don't know about that. And I think only sharing publicly information about threats or incidents is not good enough. We need an instance, and that could be publicly too, which analyzes what are the consequences for the sector or for the operators or for the target city.
Thank you. We have 2 minutes left, so maybe one question, and then yes.
نجيب عن سؤال إضافي واحد. ميكروفون.
and the companies is overdue already. And the right thing to do is to do the same for students in school.
هل يجب أن نشجع التلاميذ في المدارس على تغيير سلوكياتهم إذ أنه يصعب تغيير السلوكيات في مرحلة لاحقة من حياة الأشخاص؟ معالي الوزير؟
I couldn't agree more. I think definitely executives now, when they go for training, they are trained on skills that relate to team building, leadership, etc., etc. I'm not sure if anyone really talks to them about cybersecurity, and I think your point is very valid. This has to become from now on a must in every executive briefing, because the leader of the organization understands the risks that are within his or her organization. And I think you bring another point which is equally valid, and that schools, because when you teach kids vulnerability towards the risks that are caused by cybersecurity, you create a society that understands the risks and then deal with it. You may even bring the next pioneers from these schools, people who can then defend us in the future and make sure as we get more and more interconnected, they become the talent that we need to carry us over. So yes, I agree. I just would emphasize what you just said.
Thank you very much, Minister. I would like now to conclude. Thank you very much all for coming. I hope that you are not more scared when you arrive than when you leave, because I think that there is good reasons for us to work together. I want to remind ourselves that I spoke to a professor in Davos that said I was to my first cyber conference 21 years ago. The conclusion was we should work more together, we should share more together, we should educate more. That was 21 years ago. We'll probably have the same conclusion now 21 years later. Shouldn't we do something about that and start actually working together? So thank you very much, and could you please say thanks to the panel? Thank you.
شكرا للمحدثين، شكرا للمشاركين.
Thank you.